What are you saying? The sheriff is near!
No, God blame it, dang blame it! The sheriff is a near!
Blazing Saddles shocked audiences with a jazz legend playing April in Paris, in the desert, a Yiddish-speaking Indian chief played by the director himself, and a climactic chase that literally broke through the Warner Brothers studio wall into other movie sets. But which star collapsed on day one and had to be replaced? What everyday item did Mel Brooks refuse to censor despite cutting other content? And why did the theme song singer have no idea he was performing comedy? These are 50 hidden details about Blazing Saddles that will completely change how you watch this outrageous classic.
Gum online, eh? I hope you brought enough for everybody.
I didn't know there was going to be so many.
Number 50. The Desert Jazz Legend. Count Basie and his full orchestra performing April in Paris in the middle of the desert wasn't just random surrealism. It was Brooks's deliberate anachronism to announce this wouldn't be your typical Western. Number 49. The Flatulence Symphony. The campfire scene broke Hollywood's last taboo. No film had ever featured audible flatulence before. Brooks fought the studio to keep every single bean-powered sound effect, calling it the most honest thing in the movie. Number 48. The Misled Singer. Frankie Lane recorded the theme song completely straight because Brooks deliberately never told him it was a comedy. Lane thought he was singing for a serious Western epic, giving the opening an unintentionally perfect sincerity. Number 47. The Lawsuit Name. Hedley Lamar's name was a direct parody of actress Hedy Lamarr, who actually sued the production during the film's release. Brooks kept the joke in anyway, even adding a running gag where everyone calls him Hedy by mistake. Number 46. The Flatulent Frenchman. Governor Le Pétomane was named after a real 19th century French performer whose entire act consisted of musical flatulence. The man could play La Marseillaise with his posterior and packed theaters across Europe. Number 45. The Collapse Star. Gig Young was originally cast as the Waco Kid, but collapsed from alcohol withdrawal on his first day. Gene Wilder stepped in with zero preparation, creating cinema history with his trembling hands routine. Number 44. The Rejected Duke. John Wayne actually loved the script and told Brooks it was brilliant, but turned down the Waco Kid role, saying, "I can't be in this picture, it's too dirty, but I'll be first in line to see it." Number 43. The Writer Who Couldn't Star. Richard Pryor co-wrote the screenplay and was Brooks's first choice to play Sheriff Bart. The studio refused to insure him due to his drug history, so Pryor stayed on as writer only, contributing most of the racial humor that made the film revolutionary. Number 42. The TV Anachronism. The Wide World of Sports line drops a 1970s television reference into 1874, one of dozens of deliberate time travel jokes Brooks scattered throughout the film to keep audiences off balance. Number 41. The Marlene Mockery. Lily von Stupp was a devastating parody of Marlene Dietrich, complete with a German accent, world-weary singing style, and elaborate stage show. Madeline Kahn studied Dietrich's films for weeks, perfecting every gesture and vocal inflection. "I'm tired" replicated Dietrich's cabaret numbers so precisely that audiences who knew the originals found it even funnier. Number 40. The Johnson Conspiracy. Rockridge's all-Johnson population wasn't random. Brooks hid references to vaudeville duo Olson and Johnson, actor Van Johnson, and lexicographer Dr. Samuel Johnson. The repetition of the surname becomes increasingly absurd as Howard Johnson, Samuel Johnson, and Dr. Samuel Johnson all appear at the town meeting, turning a simple naming convention into intellectual comedy. Number 39. The Bull Navigation. Mongo's bull had yes and no painted on its haunches, referencing old highway safety campaigns where slow-moving vehicles had these words painted on their backs to tell drivers when it was safe to pass. This 1930s reference in an 1870s setting added another layer to Brooks's time-warping comedy. Number 38. The Respectful Invocation. When someone mentions Randolph Scott, the entire town reverently removes their hats and repeats his name in hushed awe. Scott was a legendary Western star who'd retired just 2 years before Blazing Saddles, making this both tribute and satire of the genre's worship of its icons. Number 37. The Fourth Wall Massacre. The finale doesn't just break the fourth wall, it demolishes it. The fight spills from Rock Ridge onto the Warner Brothers lot, crashes through the commissary, invades a Busby Berkeley musical, and ends with the characters watching their own movie. No Western had ever acknowledged its own artifice so completely. Number 36. The Paddleball Politics. Throughout the film, Governor Lepetoman signs crucial state documents while playing with a paddleball toy, never once looking at what he's signing. This visual gag about political incompetence runs through multiple scenes, commenting on government attention spans without a single line of dialogue. Number 35. The Porter Protest. When the railroad workers break into Cole Porter instead of a traditional work song, Boss Taggart loses his mind. The sophisticated "I get a kick out of you" coming from supposedly simple laborers was Brooks's jab at Hollywood's stereotyping of minorities as culturally unsophisticated. Number 34. The Self-Hostage. Bart holding himself hostage to escape the mob remains one of cinema's greatest logic-destroying moments. The townspeople completely fall for it, with one woman shrieking, "Won't somebody help that poor man?" as Bart has his own gun to his head, mocking both mob mentality and Western heroics simultaneously. Number 33. The DeMille Death Count. The Waco Kid's claim that he's killed more men than Cecil B. DeMille works on multiple levels. DeMille's biblical epics featured massive battle scenes with thousands of deaths, but it's also a meta-joke about Hollywood creating fictional violence for entertainment, delivered by a character who's literally fictional violence personified. Number 32. The Equal Opportunity Villainy. Headley's recruitment poster seeking criminals advertises as an equal opportunity employer, using 1970s corporate diversity language for hiring murderers and thieves. The poster specifically requires a criminal record for employment, turning modern HR practices into Old West absurdity. Number 31. The Gucci Saddles. Bart rides into Rock Ridge wearing designer Gucci saddlebags and modern sunglasses, a $400 outfit in 1874. The costume department deliberately picked the most anachronistic high-fashion items they could find, making Bart a time-traveling style icon who's literally too cool for the Old West. Number 30. The Toll Booth Nowhere. The William J. Lepetoman Memorial Thruway appearing in the desert, complete with an exact change-only booth, forces the attacking army to stop and search for dimes. One villain's frustrated, "Somebody's got to go back and get a shitload of dimes," turns modern bureaucratic annoyance into frontier farce. Number 29. The Einstein Escape. The Looney Tunes theme, playing as Bart and Jim escape after the fake candygram explosion wasn't just random. Warner Brothers owned both Looney Tunes and produced Blazing Saddles, so Brooks literally used the studio's cartoon music to punctuate his live-action cartoon violence. Number 28. The Methodist Menace. Headley's list of desperados needed for his army ends with rustlers, cutthroats, murderers, bounty hunters, desperados, mugs, pugs, thugs, nitwits, halfwits, dimwits, vipers, snipers, con men, Indian agents, Mexican bandits, muggers, buggerers, bushwhackers, hornswagglers, horse thieves, bull dykes, train robbers, bank robbers, ass kickers, shit kickers, and Methodists. The Methodist punchline destroys the menace with unexpected denominational humor. Number 27. The German Pickelhauben. Lily's backup dancers wear Prussian military helmets from World War I, placing 1914 German military fashion in an 1874 American frontier town's saloon show. The helmets had nothing to do with the Old West, but everything to do with Dietrich's German heritage, adding visual absurdity to an already ridiculous musical number. Number 26. The Dummy Ambush. The fake rock ridge built to fool Headley's army gets populated entirely with dummies that explode. The heroes wire mannequins with dynamite, creating the ultimate straw man army. When the villains attack, they're literally fighting nobody, a metaphor for the empty violence of traditional westerns that Brooks probably didn't even intend. Number 25. The Hand Reversal. The Waco Kid's shaking hands steady only when he switches his gun hand under the table, a brilliant bit of physical comedy from Wilder. He appears to be a washed-up drunk until he reveals his draw is still faster than the eye can see, subverting expectations with a simple wrist flip. Number 24. The Original Title Problem. The film started as Tex X by writer Andrew Bergman, but had to be retitled because executives feared audiences would think it was an X-rated film. Black Bart was considered, then The Purple Sage, before Brooks came up with Blazing Saddles, which meant absolutely nothing but sounded like a Western. Number 23. The Explosive Sermon. The Reverend's prayer for racial understanding gets literally blown up by dynamite mid-sentence. He's building to an eloquent point about brotherhood when the explosion cuts him off, making the film's racial commentary as subtle as TNT. The visual gag of his hat floating down while he stands there smoking became one of the film's most memorable images. Number 22. The Authentic Gibberish. Gabby Johnson's incomprehensible frontier speak was performed by Jack Starrett, who improvised most of it. The credits list him specifically for authentic frontier gibberish, making fun of every unintelligible sidekick in Western history while acknowledging the actor's contribution to creating nonsense. Number 21. The Hidden Cameo. During the movie theater scene at the end, Mel Brooks dubbed one of the angry audience members' voices himself, giving him 3 roles in the film: Governor Lepetomaine, the Indian chief, and the cranky moviegoer. He's literally complaining about his own movie within his own movie. Number 20. The Cabaret Infiltration. When Bart seduces Lily von Stupp, Brooks actually filmed a scene that was too risque even for him. The deleted moment was the only thing Brooks self-censored in a movie that pushed every other boundary. He never revealed what it was, saying some things were better left to imagination. Number 19. The French Mistake. The musical number that the Western brawl crashes into. The French Mistake became so iconic that the TV show Supernatural named an entire meta-episode after it 40 years later. The title itself is a euphemism Brooks loved for its double meaning. Number 18, the horseback premiere. The world premiere at the Pickwick Drive-In in Burbank featured invited guests arriving on horseback in full Western costume. Brooks wanted the most ridiculous possible opening, with Hollywood elite in cowboy drag watching his Western that destroys Westerns. Number 17, the KKK collapse. When Bart and Jim infiltrate a Klan meeting, they wear their hoods backwards and claim to be with a different chapter. The racists are too stupid to notice, turning the KKK into Keystone Cops. Brooks said, making racists the stupidest people in the film was his greatest revenge. Number 16, the studio synchronicity. Carol Arthur, who played the frontier woman Harriet Johnson, was married to Dom DeLuise. DeLuise's character, Buddy Bazaar, directs the musical that Harriet's town fight scene crashes into, meaning a real husband and wife's characters meet when their separate movies collide in the finale. Number 15, the casino connection. The film showed Mann's Chinese Theater playing Blazing Saddles during the chase scene, creating an infinite loop where the movie exists within itself. The characters literally run past a theater showing the movie they're currently in. Number 14, the tech legacy. Rock Ridge later became the name of a real CD/DVD file system standard. The tech developers who created it were fans who wanted to immortalize the fictional town in actual computer architecture, making Brooks's Joketown name into permanent digital infrastructure. Number 13, the Wayne wisdom. John Wayne didn't just decline the role, he told Brooks exactly why the film would work without him. "It'll be funnier if someone else does it," Wayne said. "My audience would spend the whole movie waiting for me to pull out a gun and shoot somebody for real." Number 12, the Mongo philosophy. Mongo only pawn in Game of Life wasn't just a throwaway line. Alex Karras delivered it with such sweetness that it reframed Mongo from monster to manipulated innocent. The line came from Pryor, who wanted to make sure even the villains had humanity. Number 11, the musical originals. Brooks and composer John Morris wrote completely original songs for the film, including The Ballad of Rock Ridge and I'm Tired. They could have used existing Western songs, but wanted every element to be specifically crafted parody. Morris spent weeks studying Western film scores to make music that sounded authentic while being completely absurd. Number 10, the Yiddish Western. Brooks playing the Indian chief who speaks Yiddish wasn't just a Jewish joke. It referenced the real phenomenon of Jewish immigrants who settled in the Old West, many of whom interacted with Native American tribes. The absurdist humor had actual historical precedent, making it smarter than it appeared. Number 9, the Young collapse. Gig Young's first-day collapse from alcohol withdrawal was so severe that production shut down completely. When Gene Wilder arrived as replacement, Brooks didn't even have time to rehearse with him. Their first scene together was also Wilder's first time performing the role, adding authentic nervousness to the Waco Kid's shaky introduction. Number 8, the Pryor contribution. Richard Pryor wrote most of the racial material that made the film revolutionary, including the N-word usage that shocked 1974 audiences. He insisted the film had to use authentic racist language to properly mock racism. Without Pryor's involvement, Brooks admitted he never could have made those choices as a white filmmaker. Number 7, the Lane sincerity. Frankie Lane's complete ignorance that he was singing for a comedy created perfection by accident. His earnest delivery of lyrics like "he rode a blazing saddle" established a serious tone that the film immediately destroys. Brooks called it the best money he ever spent because Lane's sincerity made the parody work. Number 6. The perfect parody. Madeline Kahn's Lily von Shtupp earned an Oscar nomination for perfectly destroying Marlene Dietrich's entire persona in 8 minutes. She studied Dietrich so intensely that Dietrich herself reportedly said, "This is either the greatest compliment or the worst insult I've ever received." Number 5. The Warner War. The studio fought Brooks on nearly everything, especially the flatulence scene. Executive Ted Ashley walked out of the first screening in disgust. But when Brooks showed it to regular audiences who laughed hysterically, Warner Brothers finally understood they had comedy gold, even if it was bathroom humor. Number 4. The Location Joke. The William J. Le Pétomane Memorial Thruway was named after the governor character, but Le Pétomane was the stage name of Joseph Pujol, a French performer who could fart musical notes. Brooks named the governor after a professional farter, then named a highway after the governor, creating a monument to flatulence. Number 3. The Real Lamar. Hedy Lamar's lawsuit against the film wasn't just about her name. She was also a genius inventor who helped develop frequency hopping technology that became the basis for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. The actress Brooks was parodying literally invented technologies we use today. Number 2. The censorship victory. When Brooks submitted the film to the MPAA, they gave him a list of cuts to avoid an R rating. Brooks agreed to make the changes, then didn't cut a single frame. He resubmitted the exact same film, and they passed it, proving censorship was arbitrary. The only thing he actually removed was one moment from Bart and Lily's scene that he self-censored. And before our final revelation, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more movie facts and comment below if you knew any of these Blazing Saddles secrets. Number 1. The Revolutionary Risk. Warner Brothers nearly buried the film completely after disastrous executive screenings. They planned a limited release to minimize losses, but Brooks demanded they test it with real audiences. At a screening in Westwood, the laughter was so loud that people missed half the jokes. The audience gave it a standing ovation. One executive turned to Brooks and said, "We have no idea what we have here, do we?" Brooks replied, "You have the funniest movie ever made about racism, and you're too scared to release it." The film went on to become Warner Brothers' highest-grossing film of 1974, proving that audiences were ready for comedy that didn't just push boundaries, but obliterated them. Cleveland Little received death threats for playing a black sheriff who outsmarts white people, but also thousands of letters from black fans thanking him for being the smartest character in any Western. The film that studios thought would end careers instead changed comedy forever. Brooks later said the real saddle that was blazing was the one Hollywood executives were sitting on while deciding whether America could handle laughing at its own racism. It could. The film made $119 million in 1974, equivalent to over $700 million today. Not bad for a movie where cowboys eat beans and fart around a campfire.